Farm forestry will benefit landholders because it gives them another string to their bow, so it becomes integrated in part of their farming system. So whether it's for firewood production, whether it's for shelter belt, increases biodiversity on their farm. So there's a range of benefits for farmers to have farm forestry as part of their farming system.
How can trees help support your farming system, make the farm more attractive, interesting, and maybe in the long term diversify your income options in some way? So they'll take me to an eroded creek or an exposed paddock, and we'll talk about we need a shelter belt along there. The conversation will then move on to what species do we plant that are also potentially good for timber, and how much you manage them. Can we make that belt for the same fencing cost a little bit wider to increase the amount of tree species you can grow, enhance the biodiversity by having a wider strip, but then even grow some specialty timbers in there as well. So it's really about whether timber can complement the trees that a farmer wants anyway. There shouldn't be any competition between trees and agriculture, because you use your unproductive land, your exposed sites, your drainage lines, eroded areas, and only then you might think, if you're really into timber or crops or tree crops, you might plant some more, but not until then, and most farms are well behind that.
I was putting them on land that wasn't producing very much, so I wasn't expecting too much in return. But by fencing off to land type, once the trees had got past 4 or 5 years old, I could leave the gate open and the stock could go in there. So it was wonderful having that area to be able to run off lambing ewes, sheep after shearing time. There was no feed benefit in it, but the shelter, you know, we're in the southeast, it's pretty windy, can be pretty wet, it's pretty beneficial.
We've been interested in revegetation since day one. We really set out to drought-proof the farm, which I think we did. Most of our forestry has been done as tree lines, as shelter belts. We've certainly increased the amount of bird life, and you might be lucky to hear a bird here and there. The good side is that it beautifies the farm, it makes it look good. I think the benefits still outweigh the downside, which is scarring adjacent to fences and rabbits.
Most of it is to beautify, and it's just a more pleasant place to work in. The shelter aspect has been the main driver, and any forest timber that comes from it in the future will be a bonus. The main reasons have been for shelter and stabilisation of light soils. During this period we changed our lambing from an autumn lambing to a late winter lambing, so we could have the effects of cold weather, and this was very beneficial in the lamb production. And of course, with the veld grass underneath the red gums, it was a beautiful spot for young growing lambs to shade in the early summer. Putting all those aspects together, the whole system was a dramatic increase in our lamb production. We went from lambing rates of around 80% through to 110%, just with the changing of lambing times, with which the forestry was a huge benefit in being able to do that.